The morning broke in hushed tones, the air heavy with the scent of dew and something far less tangible, a quiet sadness that seemed to cling to the small town like mist. Tu Diep, graceful yet restless, greeted the day with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Hello, everyone. Wishing you all good health and peace in life," she said, her voice carrying a warmth that belied the storm she kept inside. CEO James had left without warning, breaking a promise that had once been carved deep into her heart. The laughter that had once filled her home had been replaced by the kind of silence that echoed louder than noise. Love at a distance is a rare test, one few can endure. Could Tu Diep find the strength to wait for James's return? Or would time and loneliness slowly erode the love they had believed unshakable? The farewell before dawn. It was only 4 a.m., yet James was already dressed in a crisp suit. His suitcase stood sentinel by the door, ready to be claimed by the waiting car outside. The headlights spilled pale light across the front steps. His mother stood there, her eyes shimmering with unspoken emotion as she tried to smile. "Son, I have prepared everything for you," she said softly. "Take care of yourself out there." "The weather is hot now. Be careful with the air conditioner, don't catch a cold." James clasped her hands, feeling the warmth of her calloused fingers. "I'm sorry, Mother, for leaving you alone." "I know you didn't want me to go, but I have to. I must help Father, I must do it for all of us." She nodded, swallowing her tears. "I know. This is for the family. Be strong, my son." In the dim light behind them stood Tu Diep, silent and still. She hadn't slept all night, knowing that with the rising sun, he would be gone. James turned to her, committing every detail to memory. The way the morning light brushed her face, her hair falling softly over her shoulders. "When you wake up," he whispered, "I'll already be on the plane. Don't call me right away, I'll reach out as soon as I land." "I know I promised never to leave you again, but I can't abandon my duty to my family." Between love and filial duty, I have to choose both. I will come back for you, no matter how long it takes. Wait for me, a month, a year, longer if you must. And when I return, I hope the next flight we take will be together, for our honeymoon. Her lip trembled, but she bit it to stop herself from crying. Tears are for happiness, not sorrow, she reminded herself. "I'll wait," she said quietly. "No matter how long." He smiled one last time, stepped into the car, and was gone. Days that stretched into silence. The days after his departure seemed longer than they should have been. Tu Diep kept herself busy. She visited the construction site where their new home was meant to rise. The foreman, Mr. Lin, was measuring wooden posts. "Some of these are too short," he muttered, noting the missing lengths. "We'll need more wood before the workers can start." She offered to help, but there was little she could do yet. "Come back tomorrow," Lynn said kindly. On the walk home, she remembered James mentioning that the pineapples and pomelos were ready for harvest. Almost without thinking, she detoured to the orchard. The golden pineapples glistened under the morning sun, their fragrance sweet and familiar. She began picking them, imagining James's smile when she told him over the phone, but with every piece of fruit she gathered, the same thought returned: when will he come back? Will he still be the same? A test for both hearts. Far away, James was battling storms of his own. The business venture he had joined with his father was far more cutthroat than expected. Negotiations dragged endlessly. Competitors played ruthless games. In Vietnam, Tu Diep's test was quieter but no less demanding. She filled her days with work, helping at the construction site once progress began, visiting the orchard, learning to manage business matters in James's absence. She wanted him to return not to a life paused, but to a life thriving. The first few days, her phone lit up often, sometimes with a simple "I miss you," sometimes with long late-night calls. But as weeks turned into months, the calls grew scarce. The time zones, the weight of his responsibilities, and the unpredictability of his work pulled them further apart. The unwelcome visitor. One humid afternoon, as she arranged pineapples at the local market, a familiar voice called her name. It was Men, an old acquaintance, now sharply dressed in a tailored suit. "It's been a long time," he said with a polite smile that lingered just a moment too long. "I heard James went abroad. Must be difficult for you," she forced a smile. "It's fine. We talk when we can. If you ever need help with anything, you know where to find me," he said. It was harmless, or so it should have been. But that night, lying in bed, she wondered if James could ever truly understand the loneliness beginning to take root in her heart. Walls made of miles. Meanwhile, James often sat in his hotel room, phone in hand, longing to hear her voice, only to find it was too late in Vietnam to call. He told himself it was temporary. That one day soon, he'd walk through that familiar door and she'd be there, and all the distance would melt away. But in truth, he was beginning to realize the road home was longer than either of them had imagined. And back in Vietnam, whispers had started, wondering whether Tu Diep could truly wait, whether she could resist the quiet attentions of those closer to her than James could be. The video call. One evening, as the sunset bathed the orchard in gold, Tu Diep's phone vibrated. James's name lit the screen. Her heart skipped. "James," she answered, her face brightening. "I miss you," he said, fatigue shadowing his smile. "How have you been?" "I've been fine." "The house is coming along. The orchard's doing well. I've been keeping busy." "That's good," he said softly. "I'm sorry I haven't called as much. Things here, they're harder than I thought. Deals keep falling through." "I'm working with people I can't fully trust." She noticed the slump in his shoulders. "Don't worry about me. Just focus on your work and stay safe. I'll be here." They talked for a while, trading small stories and smiles. But when the call ended, the silence returned, heavier than before. A rift in the making. A few days later, men appeared again, this time at the construction site, delivering materials at a discount. "James is far away," he said casually. "I know how stressful these projects can be." "Let me help." She hesitated but accepted, promising to repay him soon. That evening, James's message arrived. "I heard Men was at the site today." "Why didn't you tell me?" Tu Diep stared at the screen, a spark of frustration rising. How did he know? And why does it feel like the miles between us have turned into walls? The real battle. In a foreign office lit by cold fluorescent light, James clenched his fists. His father's business partner had just informed him a major contract had been sabotaged. A hidden rival was pulling strings, the same force that had once tried to harm his company at home. In that moment, James understood two things. Returning to Vietnam would take much longer than he had hoped. His greatest battle wasn't just winning abroad, it was keeping Tu Diep's heart while fighting a war she could not see. The truth about love at a distance. True love is not only tested in moments of joy, but in the long stretches of silence, distance, and uncertainty. Trust is the bridge that spans those miles. Without it, even the smallest misunderstandings can become walls. It survives through patience, honesty, and the will to see beyond temporary hardships. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is enduring the waiting without letting doubt take root. Distance, whether in love, family, or friendship, will always test us. Those who choose faith over fear, communication over assumption, and self-growth over stagnation give themselves the best chance of keeping the promise alive. When the day of reunion comes, the strongest love will be the one that has weathered both time and silence.